Hey, Flowmies, it's time for another edition of the ITF Flowcast. So this week we have our year-end Flowmie Roundtable. And I do want to apologize. I haven't put out a whole lot in December. We have just been nuts crazy. And, a lot of the people who I wanted to interview have also been crazy. So it's been just hard to make the arrangements. So this month has been real weak as far as how many podcasts that we put out, but we wanted to make sure we got the year-end Flowmie special roundtable, and we're going to all get to share a little bit about what's going on with our businesses and the things, the challenges that we faced. But we're also going to end the podcast with something new, and it's called the Flowmies or the Flowmie Awards. We've nominated several people who we felt were just outstanding examples of what being a Flowmie means and how they run their business and how they're learning, how they're growing, how they're maintaining those types of things. And you're going to definitely want to listen to hear who are the winners for this year. So anyhow, enjoy. We know that we did. It's always fun getting together with all the mods and getting to catch up with each other. And we look forward to catching up with you guys, hopefully at the IWCA convention coming up soon. But anyways, just listen in and enjoy. Hey, Flowmies, it's time for another edition of the ITF Flowcast. So as usual, what we try to do is have a year-end Flowmie roundtable where we can just touch base with all of our mods and talk about you guys, you fine folks too over there in the ITF. And so we want to welcome everyone first to start. So Fernando, how you doing, buddy? You're on a project right now, right?
Yes, sir. You know us, busy like always, man. Thank God for that.
So you are on a
busy.
roof. You're on a roof.
We're literally, I'm literally sitting on top of my project right now. They actually have a fire pit up here, so
nice.
We don't need the fire pit though. But yeah, we're busy. We're a big project here. We're really happy that they chose us to come out and take care of this project. I'll share some details later.
All right, very cool. And how are the Vandermeers doing?
Good. We've been off since the 23rd of December. We don't go back until January 3rd. It's the one time a year that we enjoy some real significant time off. We pay our employees for the week and they have off as well. We are about to raise prices on everything and we're really excited about it.
All right, we'll get talk about that when we start talking about what accomplishments we have, what plans we have for the future. And Mr. Hargis, how you doing?
No complaints here.
I see the sleeves are off, so that's always a positive thing.
Oh, they're never not on. No.
Be worried when you see them with sleeves.
That's right. That's when we're in trouble.
Yeah, occasionally if it gets down to single digits in temperature, but usually then it's just a hoodie or something because when we're working inside, it's still warm, it still gets hot. So
that's true. That's true. And Kory, how you doing, buddy? I think Kory's frozen on us here.
Easy.
Well, we did get some snow over last week, I think. So maybe
yeah.
He's probably trying to dig himself out the snow right now.
What about you, Mr. Joel? How you doing, bud?
We're doing pretty good. We've been doing high dusting and window cleaning at several schools for the last 2 weeks. So that's what we're doing today. So like Nando here on project, just taking a break.
Yeah. How big is that project that you're on?
It's really big. It'll be, they got a contract ready for us. So it's going to be one of our bigger contracts. And it's 5 schools, 2 weeks of high dusting and window cleaning. And then they're going to have us come back again in the summer and do all of the windows. Because right now it's taking 2 weeks, but we're only doing the common areas, what they've defined as common areas for window cleaning. So
okay, gotcha.
Pretty good size for us.
All right, I think we got Kory back now. How you doing, bud? Oh, now he went out again. he may be having more issues than Nando. We were worried about Nando.
I know, right? I was worried about myself. Like, I'm not gonna make it.
I think he's muted.
Yeah.
Right, he probably is muted. He probably muted himself.
Yeah. Are you there, Kory? Oh, he's gonna log out and come back in here. So we'll go ahead and get started. But anyhow, we're doing good too. We had a super busy season, and we'll talk about this a little later too. We went down to single man crews, which is great in a lot of areas. But what happens is if people call in, I'm used to having a person you can just, rearrange the schedule and you take care of it and it's not a big deal. And so I end up having to work a lot more during this time in the field than I normally do. So it was pretty challenging for sure. And I mean, I wore myself out this week, or this busy season. But the good thing is that we're going into our slower part of the season better. I think the problem I had last time was we had so many workers. We had eight techs, and then the next thing you're doing is trying to scramble to get work for them. So we shouldn't have that problem this year, since we're only have 5 techs going into the slow season, and I usually come off at that time. So we'll see how it works out. But anyway, I'm just tired. I'm just like you guys, just ready to get some rest and man, just worn out. So very cool. Well, let's see if we got Kory in. Are you here now, Kory?
That signal's trying.
There you are. How's it going, bud?
We're trying over here.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, he's cutting in and out.
Yeah, you might need to go somewhere else or get closer to your internet connection there, Kory. To your router.
You got nothing.
Anybody know sign language?
Can't hear anything.
You can sign them.
I really love that project, Nando. I mean, I'm geeking out on that.
I can't hear anything.
I have a background in natural sciences and green and leadership in environmental engineering development. Like that roof, that whole project is like, oh, I wish I could be there.
Yeah, dude, it's when I first saw it, I was like, holy man. And I was like, where's the house? Because when you drive up to it, all you see is like a landslide. And you're like, but once you actually come in, then you start seeing the entrances to the home. Like, dude, you should see I think the parking garage is a lot bigger than the house. It's like, wow, who's going to live in this house? But you know what?
I will.
It's, I was talking to Steve Blythe last night, and he mentions like, man, it's like when they can recognize someone that good to come out and do a project like this.
That's awesome.
It speaks a lot about you guys. So we're really happy. We everybody knows we work really hard for what we do, and we put ourselves out there regardless of no matter the job, right? Yeah. And for a project like this, I was stoked when they say, and I went high. I said, you know what? We know what we're worth. We got to stay out there a whole week. The wife's not going to be happy about it, but when we come home with a paycheck, she's going to be happy. And then we got some outlets down the street from us, so I'll probably do a stop there before we go home. But yeah, I'll share some details. I still got to get like an okay to see if I can actually release the footage of what we've done and all that, because it is the designer of the home I heard that he's a very famous architect, very, very famous. So I don't know who he is yet, but I'm happy with doing his house. And there's another window cleaner guy out here, Sea Glass Window Cleaning. Yeah. And he's been helping me where to go pick up DI water, because these homes are on well water. So I do not want to feed that stuff through my filter system. No. And we went to a water supply store about 15 minutes up north to fill up my big blue tank, and we got pure water in there, and I'm going to just refilter that. They're selling me pure water at 8 TDS. How pure is that? Wow. I told the water store, I'm like, hey, this is not pure water. You guys your TDS levels are at 8. He said, oh, that's pretty high. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty high. But I said, it's okay. I need it. I can still filter it through my system and bring it down to 0, but it won't take a beating on my filters.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's a beautiful layout. Hopefully if we get, I've been putting some pictures up there, but it doesn't show like a lot of interior stuff. But if we're able to show the process of when we got here, I'll post a video up later on the group. A little tip on the first thing we do when we arrive to construction sites. What to do, and how to start getting the project manager on your side, knowing your routine. Like, hey, these guys are professionals. I'll share those details later. I won't talk all about them here.
Well, I wanted to kind of get everybody a chance to just kind of recap their year, to see how things are going. First, I especially to mention what challenges you faced and hopefully overcame, and what accomplishments that you've done. Because I think, so many people right now, as we end the year, we kind of take stock of what did we learn from, what things did we able to do, and then that way we can chat about that, and then hopefully set some goals for ourselves for next year. So who would like to go first on that?
Well, since Joel only has 30 minutes, maybe we should
Yeah.
give him.
Yeah, let's let him go. Yeah, go for it, Joel.
Go, Joe. Go, Joe.
I was hoping to listen to somebody else and work on my.
You can't have both ways, buddy.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, Joel.
We want to hear your challenges first.
So this year was our largest year ever. So it's the end of our 4th year, starting our 5th year of our business. And it seems like every year, despite the challenges with COVID, we continue to grow and grow. For instance, the project we're on, we're doing high dusting, which has opened up an entirely new avenue of service for us. So we were able to adequately service all of our large clients this year, pick up new large clients and provide a high level of service for them without dropping the ball. Basically get all of that done without any accidents, no injuries, no damage to people's properties or commercial properties. So we were able to do all of that. The year's not over yet, but so far we've been really fortunate with that. And we were still able to take a pretty decent sized vacation. We were able to take almost a 3-week long vacation and kind of leave.
That was your first experiment with letting your crew kind of run everything, right?
Yeah, that went really well. The person that I have working with me, some of you guys are going to meet him at the IWCA convention. He's going to be coming with me this year, and I'm going to try to get him to compete in the speed competitions. But you'll see when you meet him, he's a very responsible, just a solid guy. And he was able to manage the workflow while we were gone and took care of that. So that was a major victory for us. I'd say challenges this year. We have the most employees we've ever had. So, I mean, most of you, everybody on the Zoom call today has more employees than us, but for us, it's quite a bit. So we have 3 others besides myself. So all of us together, there's like 4 of us out there working and trying to make sure and adequately compensate everybody, keep everybody busy, not overwork anyone, working with the schedule. That's kind of been of a challenge for us. This week with the project that we're doing, we paid out overtime for our first time ever. So, we're hitting these little mile marks and it's, that part has been stressful. But just trying, since it's, the end of our 4th year of business, we're a little bit more seasoned. We're recognizing the ebbs and flows and the challenges that come up with projects and how to fix problems. And this mentally for us this year, dealing with just the regular stresses of work and the business, it's been great. So continuing to try to put family first and try to focus on what's most important and recognize everything's going to be okay. We've got a solid team. We're all seasoned veterans out here. We're okay. It's helped us tremendously to deal with the stresses mentally. So those are all, it's challenges, but it's also victories. So now coming down to the end of this year, we've already blew past our previous year's numbers and we're looking to set a record, and it's looking crazy too, because we're looking at more work over the winter. Normally last time we had a show, I mentioned that we're usually really slow this time of year, but we're looking at potentially picking up enough business to get us to keep us busy all winter long, which is crazy. So that's kind of where we're looking at. So we've had some victories with being able to take off work, rely on employees, and of course victories with numbers, and just managing the stress better. It just gets better every year, learning to deal with the ebbs and flows.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. Nice. Especially managing the stress, man. That's, so many people just take it for granted that you're going to be stressed out all the time. So
Nope.
learning that you can try and manage it, that's a huge accomplishment for sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Kory, we got you now?
I think you got me now.
All right. That's what you sound
few
great.
tries.
Crystal clear.
There he is.
Took a little bit of work, a little effort. Had to do the roundabout way and go to the mobile phone, but we're here.
Hey, good. You made it. That's what counts. So how's your year going? What kind of accomplishments you've had? What kind of challenges you've had to face?
It's been a good, I'd say the most challenging thing I faced was trying to get on the Zoom call. But since we've accomplished that now, it was a good year. All around, it was a good year. It was a good learning year. Bouncing back off of last year, which was a challenge in a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. I know my challenges weren't unique last year, but early in the year, cut back on staff to pretty much nothing and tried to manage doing most of the workload by myself last year, which was doable for quite a while because we were only doing exterior only. So during that phase of exterior only, which went into July, I was working a lot of long days, a lot of long hours, but I was able to kind of keep up with the workload. And then going into this year, trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to transition back into staff or not, because it was smooth last year. There wasn't a lot of, I like the no babysitting thing. That was always a challenge for me. So I really did enjoy the fact that I was able to kind of back away from the staff, but manage the workload. And then this year, starting back up with everything in and out right from the get-go in the spring, we usually get rolling like mid-March, early April. Mm-hmm. And it was a completely different start to the year. And it really did kind of throw me for a loop. I wasn't prepared for it as I should have been. Because I took for granted last year the fact that I was only doing exterior only for so long that I definitely burned myself out. The stress caught up with me. I didn't necessarily process the stress really well. I always feel like I can handle the pressure, I can handle the workload, I can handle the physical demands of this job. And the more you pile on my plate, the more I'm going to respond. But I was digging myself into a hole this year, and that was the biggest challenge I had. And the more I got into that hole, I got into a kind of dark place mentally because I was not running the business as well as I should have. I was overworking myself. I was spreading myself too thin. I kept adding more to the plate. And the more I added to the plate, the more stress, the more anxiety I got. The more anxiety and stress I got, the more I started to turn to ways to process that anxiety that were bad. And I know I told you guys about this already. 3 months ago, I stopped drinking, which is one thing I was leaning on that as a crutch for my anxiety. And it was the worst. It was only making a bad situation worse. Yeah. So today, actually, I've had 3 months today. I have not had a drink. And I got to say, as far as accomplishments go, that's the biggest accomplishment of my entire year, because my entire life flipped around the day I decided to stop that. I was more focused on my work. I was more productive at work. I was more efficient in my processes. I was getting ahead on the phone calls, getting ahead of, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was sabotaging myself. If I had a frustrating day at work, I would go to lunch and maybe have a beer or two with lunch, and then I wouldn't go back to work. And then the phone would ring and I wouldn't answer the phone because I was sabotaging myself. And then the more that happened, that wasn't every day of the week, but that would happen a couple times over the course of a month. And the more time that happens, the more the pile grows on the other end of it, because you're backed up on that job. I'm not answering the phone. I'm not returning the phone calls. And then just since stopping that, my efficiency and my productivity has gone up. And it's not just work. It's all around in life. Like everything has gotten exponentially better just by making that decision to not process stress and anxiety by going to that place, because it was having the exact opposite effect than I thought it was going to do, yeah. Which it seems really logical. I mean, it seems like something any normal person would be able to grasp, but that's not the way to do it. But for me, it seemed like picking up a drink was alleviating the stress, and all it was doing was making it worse. So, I mean, my energy is up, my focus is up, my client interaction is so much better. You know, I'm on top of the phone calls, I'm on top of the billing. And, you know, that for me is the biggest growth I've had this year. It all stemmed from that. And it's just, I'm looking forward to next year becoming I have to get more organized on the back end. And, you know, I see, while I did make a lot of improvements over the last 3 months, there's a lot of things that I can learn and get better at as far as just organization on the back end. And whether that means to hire someone part-time to do some of the billing. I don't like getting up at 4 a.m. and typing up bills or staying up till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night to do that sort of. Like, if I maybe want to hire someone for that first, and then down the road, I think hiring someone, I'm going to get back into training a tech and going that route very, very soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
We're so proud of you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that 3 months.
Yeah, man, it's been a great change to my life, and it's something that I'm proud of it. You know, I'm proud that I was able to kind of see, just to make the decision. I mean, it's not an easy decision to make. You don't necessarily realize, and not everybody has the same situation that I had, but I didn't realize how much it was holding me back personally. And until, you know, you really, you know, you separate yourself from it, you're really able to kind of look back and say, wow, that was really, you know, that was a lot of bad decisions, but it's just nice to be past that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep pushing forward, brother.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know, every day's a new day, and every day's a new opportunity. And it's just been, it's been a real blessing to move on from that part of the life. But
very cool. Well, you just keep it up, bud. And we really, you know, just from us, you know, we've been able to kind of see your progress just in the last few months. And, you know, it's night and day, man. So we're really proud of you.
Yeah, I can feel it. I'm glad that you guys can kind of see it too, because I feel like the change has been really, really big in my life. And like I said, it's not just window cleaning. It's not just as an admin in this group and being more active. It's everything. It's being a father. It's being a husband. I coach my kids' sports. You know, everybody's getting a better version of Kory right now. Yeah. And it's just such it's just been a rewarding few months. And there's a lot of work to do and a long way to go, but it's a starting point, and it's a good feeling.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right. We should have saved you for last, because mine's not nearly going to be as good as that
one. Now, guys.
I think we can end the meeting now.
I should have just
that about sums it up
a little longer.
What about you, Mr. Hargis? How's your what kind of challenges you faced? And
well, the biggest, I guess the biggest challenge is real similar to everybody else, is just how to get everything done. Mm-hmm. We're going to match last year, and that's great. I wanted to exceed it, but last year was kind of an anomaly for us too, where I think we grew 3.5 times last year with all the disinfecting and stuff that we did through COVID. So I was pretty happy with where it looks like we're going to end up based on what we did last year and what we have going into this year. Bringing on extra help. So that was nice, but it's also a transition, because then I got to be a little bit more strict with the schedule, and I got to make sure that I'm doing all the things that I have to do to get that stuff done, and keep everybody busy. So Celeste actually took on a lot more of a role as far as the bookkeeping aspect of it, so that she's doing all the billing, all the invoicing goes through her. A lot of the sourcing, when I need something, I just tell her, hey, this is what we need. Go here, go there, and then it just shows up. So I don't have to spend time online trying to get that done. So that's been kind of the biggest challenge. But it's been nice because there are times that I need to do other things. So I'll be able to have the crew working on something, and then I can either come later, leave early, not go at all, and be able to get a few other things done, which has been nice, because we're also working on some stuff for Celeste, where she started a business last year. And actually, Kory, that might be something that would be good for you, because she's looking at doing some of the basic accounting and bookkeeping for people remotely, where you don't have to take the time away from the regular business and your actual work to do it. And that's what's been really helpful for me, is to not be able to have to get the quote done, go get the work schedule, go get it done, get the invoicing done, make sure everybody had source materials and supplies if we needed them. So that's been a huge, huge help. So the growth has been nice, and a little bit of a learning experience, because even though I've done bigger stuff in the past, it's still, every business is a little bit different. So being able to take those experiences from the past and apply them to what we're doing here, and then change the growth plan a little bit, change the business model a little bit, so that we're positioned well for what's coming into next year and where we want to be from that point. So sometimes you get kind of content just being where you're at, but that's usually a sign that you need to do something and need to change something. That's what I've always told people that have worked for me. If you're content with where you're at, you're probably into a rut where it's just easy to do what you're doing, and you're never going to get farther or progress until you get uncomfortable. So that's where we've kind of put things now, is to make myself and Celeste a little bit uncomfortable, just because we need to grow and we need to change. So, and that's brought some great rewards. My daughter Taylor has made leaps and bounds in the business this year, to where she's actually able to go out and run jobs if I'm not there. She got on the cover of AWC magazine.
Yeah,
she's
pretty
window
cool.
cleaner of the year.
Yep.
So she's coming to the convention. So that's kind of re-inspired her, because she's always said that she loves what she does. She loves being a window cleaner.
Tell her to
And
make sure she has plenty of markers so she can get those autographs signed.
there you go. There you go. She's a little nervous about coming. I just talked to her today, and she's a little bit nervous about the convention, just because she's never been to any place like that.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty much a red carpet event for her.
there you go. Well, I think that's kind of what she's worried about a little bit. She doesn't mind attention, but she also doesn't necessarily want to be the center of attention
Sure.
all the time.
She's gonna come in with a disguise on.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to disguise me. I'm so big and ugly. Most
Put on
people
some
are gonna
sleeves.
know.
No one will recognize you.
Well, that's true. If I just wore a long sleeve shirt, and I could probably just walk right through the crowd.
Yep.
So that's been really rewarding to be able to see that, because starting with working with my dad, I never had that kind of opportunity. I mean, it was just never a thought that any of that kind of stuff was going to be possible. And now I'm here, third generation, which she's super proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Now she gets to be an integral part of the business, and she gets some recognition for it and some nice rewards going forward. So I'm hoping that that's going to inspire her, because their long-term goals, and then over the Christmas holiday, she got engaged.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. One of your challenges next year will be trying to incorporate a new son-in-law into the family. Huh?
Yep. So I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do to top 2021 now, because you've had all kinds of good stuff going. But their long-term goal is to move, and they want to move somewhere East Coast-ish. They're talking Virginia area at some point within the next 5 years. I'm like, well, now you need to start building your knowledge of how the business works, so that you could go out there and start your own business, so it's been good. It's been rewarding. Again, it's tiring, because there's been so much work to do, and there's been so much going on. Of course, with every time you think that you get a little bit of a break with the COVID stuff, and something else pops back up. And with us working in 2 major health facilities, well, actually 4 major health facilities now, we're constantly at the forefront of it. So a lot of times, before anybody else is getting the information on the news, we're starting to hear rumors of what's going to come down what's going on. We see different numbers. So, I mean, it's pretty much been business as usual for us because we've been treating it the same way since we started back in May of 2020 with the disinfecting. But it can be a little bit stressful at times because now there's so many people that work in the buildings that we're in healthcare, and they're stressed, and they're in some cases to a breaking point. So it's really good for it. It can be hard, but it's good for us to kind of help mitigate some of that actually. So like for the Thursday last week, we took a little cart around, we all dressed up, and we just walked around the hospital pulling our cart full of tins and cookies and goodies and dropped them off at different areas in the hospital. So we went to the emergency room, we went to CCU, we went to the lab, the pharmacy, security, all the kind of key areas of the hospital where a lot of times people don't get recognition, and we just dropped stuff off, and it was great to see smiles from people that, wow, they didn't expect it. Somebody cares. And, so even little things like that has been great. So that just kind of pumps us up for next year. We're going to look to expand again and see how far we can go. We're already talking, probably busyness through March right now, and then the window season kind of starts again. So again, good problems to have, but it can be stressful, it can be tiring, but we're just going to keep pushing through.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, very happy for you guys and your family. You guys got a lot of really cool things both happening, but also in brewing in the future there. So all this time I thought I had to marry an accountant to be able to have some help with that, but I guess now she can just kind of fill in, right?
Yeah.
Celeste.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do it without her at this point because she does so much of the bookkeeping stuff that I can kind of do, but what takes me 3 hours to do, she'll have done in 3 minutes.
That's
literally.
it. That's what's worth having a bookkeeper or an accountant is just, I could do it, yeah, but I'm going to be there for 4 hours and they just get it done. They got the little programs and they just zip, it's done.
And then it stresses me out because I'm not good with the bookkeeping side of it.
Yep.
And so then I get stressed out. Then I don't want to do anything. So then other stuff suffers that I'm supposed to be doing and that I actually enjoy doing. So yeah, it's been huge to have her be able to take that role over because she's still working full time, but she's been able to kind of downsize what she's doing at her regular job a little bit and be able to spend a little bit more time on our business. So
well, that's what I was wondering. Is she planning on quitting? Is she going to make this her full thing, or she'll always work there, just even if it's part time?
No, it's the long-term goal is for her business to be self-sufficient and be able to work remotely. Now there could be some things that work out where she would technically not work there, but she will keep doing some of their higher level bookkeeping and accounting, but be able to stay on for like insurance purposes and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to tell. But ultimately the goal is for her to be working for herself, doing part-time for this business. Another guy and myself have kind of joint ventured into some other business stuff. So between those two businesses, well, actually our 3 businesses, and then hers is the goal is for her to be full-time and just do that and be able to work from home. So
awesome. Good plans, man. Looking forward to seeing what comes from that. All right, Mr. Medina, what about yourself, bud? Challenges,
real
accomplishments?
Quick. I got to take off, guys.
Hey, Joel.
Sorry.
Thanks for checking in, bud.
See you, Joel.
Yep.
Have a good one, Joe.
See you, everybody. I'll watch the episode later.
All
Catch
right,
up with you guys.
We'll try not to make
you
it over too much.
Bye. Oh, no, you're cool. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so let's go Joel now.
I know. Like, hey, is he completely off already?
Yeah, he's off. You can go say
You
whatever
can
you want
make
about him.
Wait, he said he was going to rewatch it. Never mind.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you did. Yeah.
So never mind. Challenges for us. I think it's gonna. My challenges were more behind closed doors in the office. No matter how much I pushed myself, especially with bookkeeping, I think that's everyone's struggle right there. You know, we try to do everything, especially me. I try to do everything possible to, you know, try to save some dollars and share them with the crews, or share them in investing in the business by purchasing other things that we need. But at the end of the day, I finally was able, you know, I've been dealing with taxes issues back from 2019 that followed me all the way up into 2020. And luckily, I did take that bookkeeping class that Megan offers, and it gave me a good understanding of, you know, what bookkeeping was, you know, how to manage and separate my transactions and all that. 2020, I started organizing myself really good with transactions, you know, keeping certain cards for the business and strictly business. Don't stop using personal cards to make business expenses, you know, because it just created a chaos for me at the end. Um, Even after taking the course, you know, I did spend a couple months organizing my office, you know, organizing my books with QuickBooks Online and all that. But at the end of the day, I still wasn't comfortable to the point where I was consistent. You know, I would spend hours behind my computer organizing transactions. And that wasn't for me. I said, you know what, I can't do this. This is, you know, I can use my time on other things that, you know, that can help the business out. And I ended up meeting a new CPA. I got a new bookkeeper and a new CPA. The 2019 lady, she's gone. I don't know where she went. She went MIA without filing my 2019. So I finally took care of all of that nightmare. We are, I can honestly say that I am so relieved that my
Wow.
2019, my 2020, and 2021 is up to date. I think I only have one more payment to make on back taxes, and we're caught up. I think those were the biggest struggles for me. Just, you know,
Yeah.
trying to organize the books and all that. I'm spending about maybe $1,000 a year, um, just on bookkeeping, which at the end of the day is still a write off, and I don't have to worry about the headaches. I don't have to. If she's the one that calls me, hey, what are these transactions? Where did you spend this money? Why did you get $5,000 out of the account? Where? So then I respond, and she fixes it, and end of story. Simple as that. So there's a benefit. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have the time to sit there and organize their own books and all that. But luckily for me, I just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. Um, I think those were my biggest challenges as far as business wise. Comparing 2021 to 2020, we, for this time of year, we are a lot busier. And little key point I want to highlight, if for all the viewers out there, when it comes time to applying for credit for your business, or you're opening some sort of uh, cash line of access or something, do not mention that because of COVID, your business has been very successful. I learned that from one of my agents that helped me open up a business credit line, you know, for cash flow and all that. He told me, do not say that COVID has made your business more successful, because what happened if COVID never existed? Your business wouldn't be as successful. Just say, oh yeah, well, our increase has been 15, 20% every year, just like always, and we just continue to grow. Keep it at that. So that point made, keep that
Interesting.
in your book. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. So I was like, wow, I didn't know that. So, anyways, we this quarter has been very, very busy for us. We've been doing commercial work since October. We started all of our commercial work, and we had a workload of work that I had to split up crews from the night shift to, or the late afternoon into the early hours of the morning, and then our day shift. And we picked up contracts. We're gonna head back to a nightmare. You know, we're starting the SoFi Stadium now. I got two candidates right now, two full candidates that are fully experienced in window cleaning. Because I'm out here in Santa Barbara now, I can't meet them. But we have been talking regarding that, and I think we're in a, I'm in a position right now where, you know, I'm cruising. I'm okay with where we're at. You know, even though before I was already taking some days off from work because, you know, I didn't have to go out there and help my guys out. Right now I do. I've been back on the workforce for quite some time, and I don't think I can ever stop. I can't be at home more than past 2 days. It's like I need to get out there. I need to go out and work, and my body needs to get tired. I can't sleep at night. You know, my schedule just goes up. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning without an alarm. I was like, wow, that never happens. But I don't know what else I can say. I mean, other than it's been a very good year work wise. Um, I've been working really hard at organizing my office, my work trucks, the way my guys work. Uh, I can't say they've been short on hours or work because there's plenty of work. And yes, we have been increasing our rates since the past 3 months. I've been noticing the calls and all that, the call volume and people, new clients, last minute people that wanted services. We squeezed in some last minute jobs. I think we worked half a day on Thanksgiving Day, but the, the customer paid my guys a cash bonus, which was $150 for like an hour and a half
Wow.
on top of their pay. So I told them, I said, hey, this is your call. If you say yes, this is totally on you. I am not asking you to come work. Customer says she'll pay you cash. I said, well, how much are you going to pay us? And they all of them got $150 cash, which was three plus the
Very cool.
job cost. The lady like, man, that's what happens when you call last minute. But I don't know. I think we're pretty structured. We're learning, new things. I think office wise, still got to tweak some areas where I want to make sure things are flowing right. The next thing would be I'm trying to I have to create a book on how my business operates because if
Oh,
something happens
yeah.
to me,
Employee manual?
yeah, and no, not an
Oh,
employee
you mean
manual, but a
for your
business
office? Oh,
manual. Like,
gotcha.
yeah, what are they? An absentee business owner, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
There's
Yeah, I
someone
forget what that's called.
and I did a CA that talks about that. But in case something ever happens to me, God forbid it, but I want somebody to be able to open up that book and run my business just the way I do, or even better.
Right.
Because my son in Arizona, he's starting to get into window cleaning, and he's been asking a lot of questions, and I'm letting him do the choices now. I'm not pushing him. I just been showing him checks. Look, son, this is what we cashed in on this job today, and every other week, look, son, this is what we cashed in this week. Look, son, this is what he's like, man, like. Like, yeah, well, if you're interested, do some research. That's why I was asking you last night about that training thing.
Learn to
Uh,
clean
but uh,
windows.com.
yeah, learning how to clean windows. I want him to do everything on his own. I don't want him to say, I mean, I'm gonna help him out, when the time comes, but I want him to jump on board and say, hey, I want to get at this and I want to do this. This is my choice because he has a good job. He has a very good job, and I don't want to pull him out of that. But if he wants to come out here and join the window cleaners and get those body aches every single morning, then hey, that was your choice. You decided to do that, and it's up to you.
Yeah, you have to do that though, because so many people have this fantasy of starting their own business and everything's going to be great and he's going to have all kinds of freedom and the money's just going to pour in. You've got to teach them right off that there's work involved in that. There's going to be a long time before they see they reap any rewards from that work.
Yeah,
if they're not willing to do that, they're not going to last.
Yeah, no, and I told them, that it's going to take a little bit of time off from family and things like that, because you have to jumpstart this business, and you're going to be the number one supplier. You're going to be the one putting in that overtime. You're going to be the one. Did I get cut off over here?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, so I think he's on board. He's been asking questions and all that, so I'm just pushing him toward, having him do a little research and see if he really wants to get in. He's starting to do like solar panel cleaning work. I did buy him a gardener brush because I said, look, I'm going to baptize you as a window cleaner with the gardener brush. Whatever you purchase on your own after that, that's your choice. But I got him a gardener brush, CLX, I think it was a 14. And I got him a gardener, all the accessories and all that. And he went out, he did a couple of jobs because he does some auto detailing on the weekends. And the customer has asked it, and he enjoyed it. He called and he asked, and I showed him how. I told him how to do that. Got himself a DI tank. He saw how much money he made in just a couple of hours, and he said, like, man, if I do this a little bit, well, it's gonna take some work. You're gonna have to put in those hours and put in that elbow grease, and you're gonna come home tired, but you're gonna come home with some hefty cash in your pocket. And he was like, I like that, but he's still, he's still on that guardrail. Like, should I really get over there or jump over or not? So I don't know. We'll see. I'll give him some more time and see how he does. But yeah, we're busy, man. We can't complain. Next year is going to be the same thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Vandermeers, you're up.
Well, I was going to say something really quick about Nando's, real quick, about the writing. I used to work for the City of Dallas Water Utilities, and they were going through this process of what they call quality management systems. And the aspect of that is it addresses business continuity and just basically taking all that years and years and years of acquired in the field knowledge and writing it down into policies, procedures, work instructions, and what have you. And, it might not be a bad idea for you to have your son work with you on writing those procedures and policies, basically just extracting everything from your brain, putting it on paper or putting it in on a website, just with the idea of he's now becoming more versed in what you do because he's actually helping you write it, and then
Right.
help you get out of the field a little bit and kind of, pull the strings from the back and dream bigger and have more time to do estimates and things like that.
Mhm.
That was just my quick little plug. Like, it sounded a lot like what you were describing was a process of business continuity. I think what they called it in the city was business continuity. So you're just ensuring that your business makes it from your hands to the next
To
hands.
someone else's hand who has no knowledge about this business.
Right. And then from there, it makes it easier for you to, when you hire new people, you can point them to your policies, procedures, work instructions, and here's the book information that you need to know, that represents what we do in the field, but understand that there's more learning to be done.
Oh,
So,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about when you said that. But for us, I've been kind of there with Kory. Like, to be honest, my main accomplishment for this year has just been holding on. Like, the family, the business, it's just been so busy and physically demanding, and just working, like starting at like 5:30 in the morning to like 7 p.m. at night. Like, I've been experiencing some physical injuries. My arm has been bothering me a lot, and I just really haven't created enough time to work on the things that I know that our business needs to work on. So, like, in terms of like income, we really haven't moved the ball so much when we compare what we earned last year to what we earned this year.
Well, I mean, I would say we've actually, like, since I'm looking at the numbers, we actually have definitely made more this year
See,
than
there
the
you go.
previous year, but we've also been that much busier. So
Right.
normally in the past we've had lulls like in the year where
Yeah.
February was slow or August was our slow times, and then you're kind of like looking ahead and trying to find regulars to kind of fill in your gaps and your spots. And this last year we have had no slow times.
Yeah.
It's just fast or faster.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's been hard to get people in, and been for good portions of our year booked out anywhere between 2 or 3 months in advance. And
Which isn't really a good thing.
It's not a good thing, because
especially if you've got regular
yeah.
clients. You've got regular clients calling, trying to get on the schedule, and they're used to you having openings 2 or 3 weeks in advance, but now you're
Mhm.
booking so far out, and we hate being in that position where we have to turn
Yeah.
regular clients away. And then it got so busy to where Sarah had to come in.
Yeah,
and work.
I'm not really in the office as much anymore. We have an office assistant, but she only works 18 hours a week,
Yeah.
which is not very much. We have Jill's office, which helps out some. But it just got to the point where, like, it was so busy, like it just could not be done without me. And so 2020, I was working in the office a lot more. And this 2021, I'm pretty much in the field all day, every day. And it's just been, we got to our anniversary. We celebrated our 16th anniversary on December 17th. And we had like nothing planned.
Yeah.
Aw.
We had time off because our office assistant, she made sure to schedule us a couple of days, but like we had nothing planned. We didn't want to do anything. All we wanted to do was sleep. Like that was it. We were just so stressed out of our minds. And it's not been till we have been on our winter break for the last couple of days or a few days now that we're calm enough to like start saying, oh yeah, I'd like to do this. Oh yeah, we need to take care of ourselves more, and realizing that like we've really let our personal lives and our health really go to the wayside because there's just no time to do anything. And so hiring has been our big thing that we need to focus on this year. For most of this last year, we've had 4 employees, not including the office assistant, and then us 2. So 6 people in the field. And this coming year, we're going to be hiring. We had to let go of 2 of those people right before our busiest season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because they were not working out. We wanted them to work out and they just weren't.
Have you guys found, sorry to interrupt, have you found it extremely challenging to find quality staff this year? Because I know that's a very big problem everywhere.
I feel like
staffing that is good.
The Gen Zers like to ghost people. I don't know what that is about. It's like just tell, and when I start people off, I say, if this isn't the job for you, if you're unhappy with something, like let me know right away when I can still do something about it. Don't wait until you're like fed up. You've told nobody anything and then you don't show up one day. Like I can't do anything at that point, and so it's been, I don't know.
It's been, it feels like we're kind of on a runaway train in a way, because we've got our office assistant working and she's scheduling so far in advance. We haven't really had a chance to like stop and quality check what she's doing. And so we're beholden to what we've put on the schedule.
Yes.
Not next week or 2 weeks from now. We're actually starting to book into February, and we're like, where are we going to create some time for ourselves?
Yeah.
We need to slow down enough. Like like I want to eat my frogs. Like I loved Kevin's presentation at the last convention that I was at with him, and he taught that class about frogs, and I was like, but my problem has been I haven't been able to slow down enough.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, this means like get the
hard stuff done first.
Right. So
do the hard stuff in the morning, do the hard stuff in the first week, the first month, just getting that stuff out of the way so you can.
Yes, your frogs.
Yeah. And it's not because I'm not eating my frogs because I'm avoiding them. It's because I can't get to them.
You have a lot of frogs to eat.
Exactly. It's just like we are doing the best we can to just accommodate what's on the schedule.
Honestly, you guys are already taking the biggest jump towards fixing that problem, though, and that's raising your prices. So you guys said you're going to raise your prices next year. Honestly, that's the biggest. So it's the solution, because one, you're going to have more income, right? So what that means is that's going to free up, as far as your needs for your paying your bills and getting your ends meet. You're going to have more money to pay employees. So you can have more of an attractive offer for a good employee or for keeping the ones that you want, right? But you're also going to chase away all the low ballers. And that's the biggest thing, like people will ask me about responsive bid and because I'm one of the higher, and we get people complain all the time. We'll call up, I can't believe you guys get away with charging this, and we say, hey, this is just what we need to charge to make it worth for us to come out. There's a lot of really good companies in Tucson. Please give them a call. We're friends with a lot of them. They're going to do a good job for you. But it's like people will like, oh, you only have like a 60% conversion rate. And they say that as a negative. I'm like, no, that's a positive, because we don't want all the customers in Tucson. We only want the customers who are going to pay what we want to charge.
That's a hard lesson, though. That's like for us to learn, but we understand what you're saying. You're filling your schedule with. You're filling your schedule not that other folks aren't quality clients, but you're like
who are willing to pay what you deserve.
We just had this conversation yesterday. My office person contacted me and said, hey, there's this lady, and she called, she did an online estimate, and then she scheduled, and then she canceled the appointment and says, no, I want them to come in person and do the bid because I think it's too much. So they paid $50 if we're going to do an on-site estimate. They paid $50. I went in person, gave them the quote. It was like literally $10 more than what the responsive bid said. I said, but we'll still honor the responsive bid. It's low, we're not going to raise you $10. So they said, okay, we'll schedule. They put on the schedule. They called up and canceled again because we were going to charge more to do, because they added mirrors and shower doors. And so we were going to charge more, and they got upset that we're, so they canceled again. And so the lady, or my office person, was like, well, what can we do to try? And I said, we're not doing nothing. We're going to let them go find other people, reimburse them the $50.
Yeah.
They are not our customer.
Exactly.
We are not going to be, we have a lot of other people to work for. We do not need to have headaches with someone who is going to be wishy-washy and back and forth and picky and nitpicky, and that's what you guys are going to be able to do, is you're going to be able to choose and pick your customers. And the ones who complain about the higher prices are going to go by the wayside. And the ones who love you guys and appreciate what you do, they're going to be willing to pay the money. And it's going to solve a lot.
Very true.
And we've sent out a good, so we're sending out letters to everybody right at the new year, but we've already sent out like a good dozen or so price hikes. Any of them going from, like, if they had a fairly recent estimate where they've had like one service done, they're going up like 6%.
Yeah.
If there's someone who, we've had them for years or whatever, they're going up anywhere between like 20 or 25%. And I was really expecting a lot of pushback. We have not had a single person yet who has batted an eye at it. Not a single one, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then on the other side of things, for new clients, we've increased our prices 10% across the board from where we were at the end of 2021. And our conversion rate has gotten higher. I don't know why, but we are literally having more people accept percentage-wise now than before the price increase.
Nice.
Go up another 10%.
I think we're gonna have to increase it.
Oh, you do.
Because I don't understand what's going on.
So one of the things I want to do more this year is I want to create more time for myself. Like, I think I was getting into the habit of overworking, coming home, and then maybe drinking a glass of wine or two. And, that still affects my outlook. Like Kory was saying, it's not something you recognize until you step out of it and you're like, I'm going to take a break. And then you start realizing how your outlook and your perception of stuff changes and clears up, and it gets more positive. So that's one goal I want, is to start creating more time for myself to exercise, because right now I don't know what I did, but over the last 4 or 5 years, it's been, I work out every day because I'm going up and down ladders. That's not the same thing.
No.
So I want to start doing more of that. I want to start creating more time, like carving out time for the family. And then I also want to be more organized and focused. So one thing I've acknowledged is that I might have a little ADHD, and that really keeps me from focusing on tasks that have multiple steps. Like, I'm great at dreaming. Sarah's constantly trying to bring me down to earth. Like, I'm dreaming about one thing, and then 5 minutes from now, I'm dreaming about another thing. And she's like, okay, let's just focus on this for right now. Like, she grabs my hand and she slowly takes me. Anyway,
I'm picturing a Phebe balloon, and she's just like.
I want to get better at at being able to focus on a calendar and look at, okay, I'm going to block this time out to accomplish this goal and this, that, and the other. And I also want to get into a habit of actually monitoring and measuring our goals. So like right now, Sarah and I are like, yeah, we made more than we did last year, but I want us to start saying, what are our actual income goals for 2022? And I want to check in each quarter. How are we doing? What can we do to change it?
Can you hit those income goals with less time and less wear and tear on your body, and by making that time for yourself and your family? Exactly. I think that's such an important thing that I know I need to do that too. I need to do the price raise and start focusing my energy in different places, just like you said. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there. That's the most important thing, because if you're not making that time for yourself and your family, you're just eating away at yourself, and you're slowly deteriorating from from being happy. You could have all the money coming in the world, but if you don't, on the back end, if you're not enjoying that time and really making the most of your time, you're not going to be, it doesn't matter. The money won't matter. You're not going to be happy.
Right.
I found myself getting really irritable and angry. Not at anyone in particular. I think it's just like, first it was like priority wise, it was like the kids, Phebe and the house, and then the business and employees and everything. And like somewhere at the bottom was me. And I just wasn't doing anything for myself. Like I barely had time to freaking use the restroom half the time.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I was like a side note in my own life. And I found myself becoming really impatient all the time and irritated all the time. And the other night we had to go to a graduation dinner for my brother. Very proud of him. And Phebe took a different vehicle because he was heading from a different work site to the dinner. And on the way back, our son rode in the truck with Phebe, and he said, "Dad, I'm so glad I'm riding with you and I don't have to deal with mom's road rage." I've been yelling at all the cars, "Why can't you drive right?" Like, I'm not an angry person, but apparently, like from the back seat, my kids are hearing me get irritated with like the road congestion and all this other stuff, and I realized it's been getting to me.
Yeah.
And I can't be the kind of mama I want to be, the kind of wife I want to be, and I can't be good to I have to be good to myself first.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
It's so true. It's just easy to say that, but when you really think about it, if you're not filling yourself back up ever, you're gonna have a short temper. You're gonna have a short fuse. You're gonna be constantly irritable.
Yeah.
And we battle the same thing. We have a young family as well here. My wife and I, trying to manage a house, manage a business, manage our lives. The most important thing is every once in a while, you need to take you time. And if you don't do it, do it in a good way. And this is to go back to what I was talking about earlier. It's not going to the bar and having a few beers. For me now, it's going out for a run and just getting a moment to myself and my thoughts. It's really like meditating for me to be out on a run right now. And it's healthier, it's exercise, but it's so mentally refreshing to just get out and get some air and have time to my thoughts. And but you'll never, if you don't make that time for yourself, it catches up with you. And everything you just said is so right on the money. You're selling yourself short if you don't do it.
Yeah, something you might consider doing too, guys, is if you don't want to raise your rates, since you've already done a raise with your current customers, raise your new customers a lot more, like maybe 30%. And that will at least cut off the channel of this in this new flow of customers that are just crowding out your already limited schedule, until you can find some quality employees that can handle the load, and then maybe consider rate. But if you raise those incoming ones, then you're taking new ones in, but at least you're getting compensated for it, but it's also going to chase away the smaller jobs that you don't need. And then do you guys have a minimum?
Yes.
What's
We
your
have
minimum?
$150 minimum,
Okay,
but we
good.
should probably raise it.
Because during the busy season, I raise mine up. I raise my minimum up, and then that way, because I don't want to take on little rinky-dink jobs when I'm at the expense of these better jobs or my current customers who are trying to get in before the holidays. So that kind of ensures that if I am taking a job in, it's worth it. It's worth that getting that chunk of real estate in my schedule for them, because they're the client I'm looking for, as opposed to $100 client that, do I really need it? No, I've got plenty of other customers that I can be servicing at this spot. Why would I just because it's a new customer doesn't mean they're obligated to take that spot,
The other
you have to
thing
vet customers.
this coming year that I'm super excited about is that we are scheduling ourselves off purposely on Mondays and Fridays.
Perfect.
So our employees, it'll be like slightly smaller days where we know they can handle it, but they will be working without us on Mondays and Fridays. We're going to open up the idea of them being able to pick up Saturdays if they want, to kind of help compensate for, because they won't feel it. We'll feel it, but they won't feel it, because they're still getting their regular work day. We're just not like triple teaming it or whatever. So we'll open up Saturdays if they want to work without us, of course. Mondays and Fridays, we're going to start scheduling ourselves off after the first 2 weeks of January when our takedowns are done for Christmas lights. And the idea being is that we're going to have 2 days of the week to focus on the business and 3 days where we're working in the business. And I think that's going to be a lot better for us, because right now it feels like every weekend we're just using it as a catch-up time.
Right.
To get stuff done.
Or to recover.
Not
necessarily recharge. There's a difference between recovery and recharge. Recharging occurs after you fully recover.
Right.
What's happened with Sarah and I is that we have had just barely enough time to recharge, and then the week starts again. And I'm sorry, recover is the word I meant there. We've had just enough time to recover over the weekend, and then it's right back to work. So there hasn't really been a lot of recharging. To spiritual, like getting that joie de vivre, like the excitement, and that seems to only come after.
I love it when you speak French.
I'm working on my relationship here, guys. A little French.
Keep it off camera, guys. Keep it off camera.
If their video cuts off.
I know, right?
Very cool.
Whoops.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys' progress, man, because you've got the good problem of having the work. Now it's managing the work for it so that your business works for you as opposed to you being a slave to your business. But I think you guys are going to figure it out. You guys are gonna make it work. So,
and that's where we were at too, Feb. So you start managing non-new customers, bring up those rates, start managing how many you're closing. That way you don't end up with high prices and not enough work later in the coming months. That's where I found my sweet spot. And every new customer that calls in now, they are paying the higher Pro Windows price now. Current customers rates are going up 10-15%. They've all been notified January 2022. They're expecting new rates, and some of them are okay with this. Some are like, how do you just? I said, I'm not gonna even sit here and justify myself whether you like it or not. That's where we're at, and it's up to you guys if they want to follow through. But just keep an eye on that, and you guys should be okay with that.
The current clients, I find the same type of thing. I'll raise the prices with a lot of my current clients. I've established a relationship with most of them for 10, 15 years. They don't want to start over again with somebody new. So the price increase for them, I mean, I work in a very affluent area. It's a very wealthy area. So a couple of $100 to them it's not going to steer them away, because then they're going to have to start over, try a new company. They're going to work. Is this guy going to steal from me? Is this guy going to be reliable? Is he going to do a good job? So, 10 to 15% to someone like that you've had for years, that you've established a really good relationship with, they're never going to flinch. They're not going to bat an eye. No. And I was always hesitant early on to no one's going to pay these prices to do Windows. That's the thought in the back of your head. And you're wrong. They're going to, they don't, it's a luxury service. They're going to pay for the service. And as long as you uphold your end of the bargain and you show up on time, you do a good job, and you uphold your end of it, they're going to pay whatever you say to pay. And the ones that don't, they're not your customer. And you're going to fill that spot with someone new.
That resonates with us, because of the handful of regular clients, when I say regular, I mean like the reoccurring clients, we weren't able to get to some of them. And, so I'm over here kind of chewing my nails thinking, oh, who did they find to replace us? But all of them have basically responded saying, hey, we did go with so-and-so for this reason. We just had a quick family thing we had to get prepared for. But pretty much all of them have said, hey, we know why we've stuck with you over the last couple of years, because they did not do the same kind of quality work that y'all did. So in a way, it's been reaffirming Sometimes when a client leaves us for a better deal, they are reminded of why they chose us to begin with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's where they learn the value of you.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, yep. So you guys just keep searching for your clients, right? You guys keep searching for your clients, and don't worry about losing the ones who aren't. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Well, for me, I'll keep it real short since we want to get to our special presentation in a little bit. For me, well, the accomplishments was efficiency, which has been my goal for the last couple of years. And, of course, I went to AWCA convention in 2019 or early 2020, right before COVID, with all these expectations of implementing things that I had learned. And then, of course, COVID hit and everything kind of went crazy. So last year was, for all of us, it was just different. We did decent though. We did all right. We really appreciated my business benefited from the Paycheck Protection Program very much. That kind of helped us get through the May and June or April and May of that year, because otherwise we would have been sunk. I mean, we would have been in debt, and it would have been really hard to dig out of it. So as it was, we did get into debt, but we were able to kind of get our bearings. This year, I did implement most of them are single member crews, and that has just been such a huge difference and such a huge benefit. Our efficiency has gone up, our profitability has gotten up. Our highest grossing year was 2019, and we did not gross as much as then, but our profitability was more than 2019, that's the key, right? It's not so gross. You can gross all you want, but if you've got so much overhead, you're just spinning your wheels. So we're finally getting to the biggest sign for me was usually we have some debt during the summer because of being slow, and I'm trying to keep my guys working. And so that we're doing things that are either not making any money or making very little money. And then I usually end up paying that off like in December. And so we don't really have a whole lot to bank, from our busy season. This year, we had everything paid off in the beginning of October. So this whole season, we were able to bank a ton of stuff. And I just fed into credit cards, fed into my truck loan, the new truck I just got. We bought another vehicle. Everything that I could just funnel it, once payroll was paid, we were paid, and everything that was important was paid. Everything extra, it was like I wasn't stocking on equipment. I wasn't doing everything was going into loans or things that we needed. And I was really happy with that. So for me, that was a big accomplishment for our company, was being able to be in that efficiency mode and stay in it, and see the fruits of those decisions. The challenge was with employees. Now we have a good crew, so that's not the problem. I think the thing that we've had the biggest challenge with is with consistency. And we had back in the early of the year, we had one guy who was my number 2, and he was really good and he was great. Everyone respected him. He kind of led, the crews when I wasn't there, and his quality was great. But then he left. He for the summer, he asked if he could go work for another company. He says, "I'll come back in the fall." I said, "Great." So I didn't have him for the whole summer, which was good because we're slow. I don't have as much work, so that kind of takes a big burden off of the company. But then he didn't come back, and he ended up going on his own, and he figured he had enough of his own business. So that kind of hurt me in 2 ways. One, I was starting my busy season without him, which I depended on him a lot. But 2, I also had a whole summer without his leadership in the crews. And I noticed that our quality started going down. Now, thankfully, I did hire another guy back from the Pacific Northwest, and he is just top notch, just wonderful work. I mean, literally from the day he's been with us, we get a Google review or a Facebook review specifically naming him. I mean, he's that good. He's really, really good. And that's helped a lot. But we're running single man crews now, so it's like they're not working together like they used to. So I have been my focus has been being consistently on top of them, and not in a negative way, but just one, pointing out when things aren't met, because usually I let things go. I don't like to harp on my workers. But during this time, when I was at the beginning of the busy season, that was my commitment, was like, nope, I'm going to take this opportunity to enforce that our standards are to be met, and so just making sure I talk to them. Okay, you didn't do this, you didn't do this you did do, and then I tried to do positive reinforcement or rewarding them or mentioning them to the in our group chat that we have. Hey, we got this review, this, thanks, to this tech because the customer was happy or whatever, but, and then also in compensation as well, trying to give them bonuses, trying to give them, different things that to thank them for their hard work. But I feel like it's finally starting to pay off, and where our consistency is back up to where I want it to be, and there's a couple guys in particular I've really been working with and just trying to help them to see that I view them as more than just an employee, but they are an integral part of the business. And that if they take that serious, if they understand their role and they take it serious, that the business will compensate them, And I think they're finally starting to get that if they just work a little harder and take it serious, that, hey, we're going to go ahead and, it's going to be worth it to them. So that's what I'm looking for in 2022 is that keeping the quality of the business and making sure that as I back away from the actual physical work, it doesn't affect the quality in the field. I think we're on the right track. It's that consistency of holding them accountable for what they do. The plus side is with the single man crew, that's easier to do, right? There's no he said, she said. There's no if they would have done this better, then I would have been able to do my job. It's all them. So that gives them the incentive to not try to use other things as an excuse.
Yeah.
And we also have tracking things and we have the hum from Verizon. So that also lets me know where they're at. So if I see someone 45 minutes on a break, I can send them, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? You all right? You're supposed to have already been at your job and, you haven't checked in there yet. So just want to check, so there's just that accountability, trying to balance keeping them accountable without harping on them. Cause I hate being that type of boss. I don't want to be a micromanager, but they also have to know that if they go off track, that something's going to alert them to get back on track, so that's my goal for 2022 is to be that type of manager of crews where I can keep them accountable, but still give them the freedom to be their own, be as efficient as they want to be, work in their style without telling them how to do that. So anyhow, that's about it for me. Now, as far as ITF, I think we've had a really busy year. We've all been so busy. It's been hard for us to have as many different things as we normally would. We did have a couple fundraisers with Colin and with Tommy. Those were both very successful. They each of them were about $3,500. Both, Tommy's doing well. He's still fighting, but he's if you follow him, if you're a friend with him on Facebook, he's just a really funny. He's just a kind guy. He cares about a lot of things. So it's cool to see him being able to continue on his life, and we're glad that fundraiser helped him to meet some of his obligations. I don't see too much about Colin, but I think he's back to clean windows. But he's had fight the kidney issues for a while, but we're glad that we could help him with that. But Flowmies, what we really wanted to do this year, which we haven't done it before, is we wanted to introduce a year-end award. Now, we know there's a lot of people in our industry who get recognized for things. They're, outstanding. They're doing things in the industry and they're well known. Their names are well known. But what we wanted to introduce was an award we're going to call the Flowmies. And we want to give this award to people who exhibit the qualities that we look for in Flowmies, right? Hard work, overcoming adversity, looking to help others. They don't have to be widely known or be widely seen, but just by virtue of how they run their business and how they live their life, they're demonstrating the qualities that we we aspire to achieve here in ITF. So we have some people that we wanted to go ahead and award. So each of us have picked an individual we felt deserved a Flowmie this year. So who would like to start with their nominee?
I guess I'll go first.
All right, Kevin.
So my pick was Jamie Hallman. Young man, I've talked to him quite a bit over the last, I think, probably 3 years. He works full-time job, has been growing his business and his brand, and has been super, super successful. And next year, he's taking that business full-time. He's only about an hour away from me, so it's actually been nice. We've been able to meet up on a couple occasions. I've been able to help him with some bids and some other opportunities and just kind of point him in the right direction. And every bit of information that I give him, he takes that and runs with it. So next year, it's a huge jump. He's got a very young family, and it's going to be a big transition for him, but he's making the leap and he's going for it. So that's my pick for my Flowmie Award.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, who's next?
I think that's a good place for me to pick up here. Jamie, who is making the jump, who I nominated as someone who recently made the jump and just went through their first full year as a business owner, Anthony Padlow. He's been an admin here. He's been a member of this group from the beginning. His first full year as a business owner, he absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's been awesome to watch his business grow, to watch him, achieve the success that he has achieved through the hard work. I mean, he's obviously a very knowledgeable window cleaner. He's been in this industry for 20 plus years. Anyone who's interacted with him in this group or any other group knows Anthony knows this business inside and out, but he had a lot of struggle and a lot of challenges as far as making the jump. And as we all had to do at one point in our lives, we all know that jump is not easy to make. It's a big commitment to go from a guaranteed paycheck to not a guaranteed paycheck, and to having to, take the safety net away and just dive in. And it's just been such a pleasure to watch his success. You can see it in his attitude. You can see it in his character. He's had a great year, and it's just been a pleasure to watch him succeed and to be a part of that with him in this group. So the Padlows Wonder Window Cleaners, they got my nomination.
Awesome. Thing about him too is they had so many health problems. Yeah. I mean, it just was like one thing after another. Just when they thought they were feeling better, someone else was in the hospital or a family member, I think his father-in-law, right? So it's just really, he's, I think about him, someone like him, my Nana one time she'd go out there and, pull weeds and stuff. And I was out there helping her, and she had the hula hoe, and, she was knocking on this weed, it looked like. And I said, what's going on, Nana? She says, oh, this weed, it doesn't want to come out. Every time I come out and cut it, it gets harder and harder to cut out. And I look and I said, no, that's a tree. That's not a weed, it's a tree. And she's like, really? Okay, I'll let it go. Well, I'm not kidding you. Within 6 months, this thing had grown, like it just shot up because she just kept chopping it down. So those roots kept growing deeper, but you couldn't see it on the surface. And then finally, once someone stopped chopping it down, it just took off, and it's still there. It's this huge tree in my Nana's yard. But I think that's how Anthony is. He's just kept facing adversity and trials, and this thing would happen. And, he'd have this big expense come up unexpectedly. But now that things have kind of settled, it's like, boom, his business is just taking off. So
it's been awesome to watch.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, who's next? Fernando? Oh, hey, Fernando, I gotta unmute you. There you go.
I didn't know I was muted. So my nominee for this category is going to be an individual who has, I want to say, is a very good prime example of someone that has gone out to and participated in conventions as recommended, to gain knowledge, gain education, talk to people and just absorb as much as you can. I interact with this person on the least, I want to say 3, 4 times a week. He is not that he's bugging me, but he's constantly asking questions, getting, trying to get information on how to, anything from bidding to processing to getting things done. And he has demonstrated in his work that he wants to learn, he wants to grow, he wants to be one of those top dogs, just like everybody else. We're all fighting to get to the top, and we're all helping each other in one way or another. So this person I'm nominating is Miguel Lopez from it looks like he's from Athens, Georgia. Family Pro Window Cleaning. Very nice individual, very friendly. I met him at the IWCA last year, and we didn't hang out much just because family emergencies. I had to return my flight back, but hopefully this year we'll be able to talk again. I mean, we text a lot, but he is a very good prime example of someone that has gained the knowledge and absorbs everything that you feed, and he actually puts it out there to work, and he's demonstrated that. So I want to nominate this guy this year, and just keep wishing him the best, and keep learning and keep pushing.
Yeah, he would have been my second choice. I met him at the IWCA convention, kind of similar. He and I talk probably weekly at least, sometimes more. And again, it's the kind of the same idea as I was talking about with Jamie, that when you give them the advice and you point them in a direction, he just goes for it.
They follow it.
They follow it, and then they work hard at making that successful. So real similar to everybody else that we're talking about, that and asking a lot of questions, but not just for the sake of asking. It's
right.
like, okay, here's my situation. I've thought about it. I'm not sure what to do. What do you think? And again, given that the information and have a run with it. It's great. See,
I think that's an important point, Kevin, because we all, just by virtue of being in ITF and being visible, people ask us things, and they'll DM us, and they'll ask. Sometimes we'll talk on the phone, and it's a lot of time. I mean, we spend a lot of time mentoring and talking. And you know what? It's hard. But it's worth it when the people listen and put it into application. Because a lot of times people just want to
execute.
Yeah, they just want to bend. They want us to hear them talk.
Yeah.
And then when you offer them advice, or then they kind of no. And it's like, okay, well then what'd you talk to me for? And I'm taking time away from my family. So I mean, if I'm doing that, I'm giving to myself, then put it into action, right? Should do the work. And someone like Miguel is a prime example of an individual who he cares about your time. He's really eager to make his business work. And then it's like not a week later, you see him doing the thing that you told him he should do.
Right.
And following through. So that's a good example of what a new business owner, he's not even new, but a growing business owner should do. So awesome. All right, Vandermeers.
So I thought we were gone.
You hear me? Okay. So Sarah's nominated an individual. I've nominated an individual. First of all, I just wanted to preface this by saying it was kind of hard for me to pick somebody. I've admired so many people in the group, not to mention, you all. I've been watching Gabe and Nando and Kory and Kevin and Joel Lamb, and all of y'all are doing exciting things with your business. And, I admire the folks that are making the big changes, but I also admire the folks that are hanging on for dear life and that are struggling with the day-to-day, because I feel like I'm constantly in limbo between both extremes, hanging on for dear life and then also pushing to make big changes. This individual kind of caught my attention because he relatively recently, I want to say within the last year or more, left his full-time job for his own business, creating his own business. And his name is Mike Hahn Jr. I believe he was an electrician before, but he's been just constantly executing. He made his decision to start his own business. I think back in October, I saw that he's been really working on his own shop to organize his tools, which is a big goal of mine. I have a shop, but it's not as well organized. but he's been really pushing, and he's been really working on his branding. He's got his signs made, and I can tell that he's put himself in a good position to succeed in 2022. And so I've been watching him closely and trying to learn from what he's done. So Mike Kahn Jr. gets my vote, even though there's a lot of great people in the Flow group. So Sarah.
The person that I wanted to give my Flowmie award to is Carrie Gunther. She is someone that I've always really admired. She's out of Minneapolis. Her business is the Window Ninja. And she, for the most part, has been a solo owner operator and one of the few other women in this field. She does this really cool thing every year. She's someone who's she definitely looks at what she wants in life, and then she kind of prioritizes those things. So she will do window cleaning for 9 months of the year, work her butt off. And then for 3 months of the year, she flies to Thailand and she spends her entire winter there. And she does window cleaning there too. But it's something that has always called to her. And this last couple of years, because of the pandemic, she's not been able to do that. Thailand was basically had closed its borders in 2020. She had just made it out right before they were closing stuff down. And then 2021, I think she's been trying to go and hasn't quite been able to either, because now there's a new variant and stuff. And I've seen her both kind of struggle with that, but then also kind of make lemonade from lemons. And I love her general outlook and things, and she just finds joy in the little things, especially in her clients. The amount of time she takes, especially with her elderly clients, you can see they're all so special to her. And yeah, I just think that's kind of the way to do it, to really find the beauty in life, not feel I feel sometimes we always feel we're trying to get somewhere, this is our destination, and when we get there, then we'll be happy. And I think sometimes we forget that, the path getting there is life. We are living life right now. And I think she's a great example of someone who kind of lives life to the fullest every day while, pursuing something amazing like window cleaning.
Very cool.
I think she is a very good prime example too of love what you do, because she expresses it in her work. She does.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think you hit it right on the head with Carrie. She definitely is a free spirit, and she loves just, kind of enjoying what she's doing. If she doesn't enjoy it, then she doesn't want to do it. So that's really cool. Yeah. So the person I wanted to nominate for the award was James Smith, and he's been a Flowmie from pretty close to the beginning. He's a really neat guy. He's very private, but I finally got him to agree to an interview. So he's going to be the first interview of next season of next year. So I'm excited to talk to him and let you guys get to know him a little better as well. He stayed small for a long time. He is trying to grow a little bit, but he's very cautious. He doesn't want this huge thing. That's not what he's about. The reason why I nominated him was because when he was trying to decide whether to hire or not, he called me up and we had a real nice talk. But I appreciated that instead of seeing the dollar signs, and instead of worrying about my business, worrying about this, worrying about that, his concern was, he said, I think in his words, an approximate quote was, I understand that if as an employer, I become a steward to those who I hire. And I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that's right and fair to the people who I hire. And I just thought that was such a very humble way to look at the employer and employee relationship. And when he said that, I said, then you don't have to worry about it, because you're already way ahead of most employers who don't even care about their employees other than what workload that they're able to give to the business, And so he got a really good guy. It was going well for a long time. And then unfortunately, and we're going to talk about this on the interview, his employee lost a child, very young child. And it was very devastating to him, obviously, but also to James. James is, again, being someone who cares about his employees, gave him as much time as he needed off. But being a single owner operator, hiring someone, scheduling the work for two people, now he's stuck with two people's work and he's only one person,
Wow.
and it was a tremendous amount of stress on him. But he handled it so well, and we talked a lot, but it just kind of came down to, he can do what he can do, and what he can't. And it's not, he's got a strong enough business that he'll be able to endure whatever, negative things come from having to turn down work or having to let them go to someone else or whatever. But anyways, he just exemplified, I think, an attitude that we as Flowmies try to have, which is, it's not profit first. It's, again, that's definitely involved. That's why we're in business. But it's what kind of a business owner are you? Do you care about people? Do you care about things other than yourself or your business? And he just did a very, for his first time hiring, and then having to face something like that, and then to come out at the end of it, it was just really impressive to me, and it just showed what a stand-up guy he was. And that's why I wanted to nominate him for this award. So
We've worked with James before. He's a pretty cool guy. He's gone out to
he
Fort
and
Worth and helped him a
Michelle
couple
are
times.
great, yeah. And they actually recently had a company Christmas party. So I think even though his employee has been off, they still, he had them get together and they celebrated kind of like the end of celebration, I guess. And yeah, he's definitely one of our favorite DFW Flowmies.
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, we are way over time here, but I think we have a pretty cool group of Flowmie recipients. We have Miguel Lopez, Jamie Hallman, Anthony Padlow, Carrie Gunther, Mike Hahn Jr., and James Smith. So I do have some little trophies on order, so I'm going to get those made up and I'll ship them out to everybody so they can commemorate that. But Flowmies, just in general, we just want to thank you guys for being such an awesome crew, keeping it so positive in the group, being willing to help people. And, half the time someone will post something and I'll think of an answer, and before I get it, someone has already answered and helped someone. And that just shows the willingness that Flowmies have to help everyone rise with each other, instead of focusing on putting others down and trying to, climb up on top of them to get to the top. Instead, we all want to help one another. And I think that's such a cool attitude that we have here. Anything you guys want to say before we close up shop?
I think the opportunity to thank you for pulling this together, and I would like to participate more. I a good roundtable, and it's kind of helped put things in perspective for me. And I'm grateful to be here with you all today, and awarding folks that are contributing to such a positive environment.
And we appreciate you all, and we love you all, and we see you all as more than just Flowmies, your family. And you're the people that we talk to when things are awesome and we have things to celebrate. And when we have things to cry about, you're also the people we talk to. And we love you.
Awesome.
Back at you.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you, Flowmies, again for another wonderful year. We hope that 2022 treats us better, and that we continue growing and bringing more positivity to the group. So thanks, everyone. Thank you all. And as always, flow on.